Hello, everyone. This is Jawad Iftikhar. The topic today is solution architecture optimizations for a connected enterprise. A little bit of introduction from my side. My name is Jawad Iftikhar. I'm the solution architect, about 20 years working with Microsoft Business Applications, focusing on D365, finance and supply chain, the ERP. I'm a solution architecture specialist and community speaker. I'm in New Jersey, and I'm an electronics engineer by education. So the executive summary of today's session is Microsoft Business Applications have, as you may know, have come a long way from siloed on-premise deployments to resilient, high available cloud solutions. If you talk about it, all started in 1998. You have started with Xepta through AX 4.0, 2009, even 2012, mostly on-premise deployments, but now it has become more and more cloud-based, like about more than 90% of the time, unless you have specific requirements around on-premise deployments. Any enterprise can now effectively automate its business processes by adapting available integration and synchronization tools, and we will look at them in a short while. A lot of Microsoft investments have been made around architectural advancements in single and multi app scenarios, and it has opened virtually endless possibilities for any enterprise looking for Microsoft Business Applications, more specifically ERP solutions. Solution architects need to understand new optimizations to these tools and processes so they can effectively craft solutions which are viable for the customers. It is very important for solution architects to understand the architectural investments and the scale of these business applications. Today's agenda, connecting business concepts and introduction, we will touch on that. What is solution architecture? I think it's important to understand what a solution architecture is, especially for the solution architects at the customer side or at the partner side, to kind of holistically understand what we are referring to here. What is expected of a solution architect? Connected enterprise, connected ERP solution architecture with single app with ERP as the center stage. We will look at that. Connected ERP solution architecture cross-app scenario. We will also look at that because, as you may know, there are multiple apps available through Microsoft Business Applications Stack, whether it's Dynamics or Power Platform or other apps. We will also talk about end-to-end business process automation using dual write, because that is something which is also very integral for these end-to-end business processes, especially when you are integrating or when you are automating an enterprise and basically connecting the end-to-end processes. So it will be an unjust if we don't talk about dual write. The path forward, what is next for business applications? What is next for the consolidation of these processes and apps and tools? We'll talk about that. Quick introduction. This, again, as I said, this presentation will focus on currently available architectural capabilities across Dynamics 365 for finance and supply chain and related applications. Finance and supply chain being the ERP. We will review the options available for any enterprise to break its silos and truly form a connected architecture. We will also review how this connected architecture helps in business process automation for these organizations. We will also review the role of a solution architect in bringing all components of a solution together. One slide on Microsoft Business Apps, how they can help. It's important to understand because there are a lot of business apps around. We want to make sure that how these business apps can help your organization to kind of truly form a connected workspace or a connected experience for your users. So Microsoft Business Applications can help to form a fully connected enterprise by providing a suite of tools that work seamlessly together to improve communication, collaboration, productivity across an organization. Microsoft Business Applications rely on 4 streams, very important, that work together and seamlessly connect effectively all areas of an enterprise. So these streams are integrations. When we talk about integrations, we talk about internal and external integrations. Internal integrations with other Microsoft business apps or Power Platform or other apps which are available, whether it's intelligence or analytics. We will also talk about automation. Automation is something if you are automating your processes. One example of automation is the workflow, complex workflows across multiple apps or a single app. Analytics, of course, this is your reporting capabilities, powered by different tools which are available, and collaboration, which is your Teams, which is your SharePoint, which can be any tool which are available and available in terms of integration with these business apps, your ERP, your CRM, and with ERP at the center stage. So this is what we are gonna look at in coming slides. When we talk about connected enterprise, it's important to understand what are the bits and pieces which basically make an enterprise. So if we talk about any company, business concepts like customer, product, contact, address, currency, all of these are fundamental building blocks of any business scenario. When you're using both front office customer engagement apps, which are your CE or sales apps, and when you're using any back office apps, or you're focusing more on the back office side to kind of run your business logic, maybe an ERP like finance and operation in your ecosystem. These basic concepts basically, they must be connected. They must be interlinked with each other to kind of find or kind of present that harmony in your cross-application scenarios. The next slide you see is what is a solution architecture per Microsoft. So a solution architecture is kind of an overall accumulation or consolidation of multiple architecture processes. So if I talk about process architecture, application architecture, data architecture, integration architecture, intelligence architecture, security architecture, continuous update architecture, and platform architecture. All of these, architecture processes basically work together to form an overall solution blueprint, right? And all of these are very important, very integral for any organization to kind of like have a connected enterprise experience. So when I talk about process architecture, these are my business process catalogs or business processes like procure to pay, quote to cash, financial plan to record. Application architecture is about what components of the application will be integrated or what components of the application will be deployed for a particular requirement or for a particular customer. Data architecture obviously involves data migration components. Also, if there is a global data warehouse component involved in the overall architecture or any data warehouse component, this particular area captures that architecture. Integration architecture is any integrations internally or externally from D365 Finance and Supply Chain or into D365 Finance and Supply Chain or other D365 apps like Commerce, Project Operations, Field Service. How does that work, right? The integration approach, the integration patterns and anti-patterns, all of that is basically covered in integration architecture. Then we have intelligence architecture, which focuses on artificial intelligence, which also focuses on business intelligence, basically. We have security architecture. Security architecture talks about or covers the authentication part of it, which is kind of an external security, and then the internal within app security, which is role-based. So it covers all the requirements around that, how the security artifacts will work. Then you have continuous update architecture. So as you may know, Microsoft, especially with the ERP, finance and supply chain, Microsoft is now updating this software on a regular basis. And if you don't take a certain number of updates, they will force these updates to you because it's really important to kind of keep your platform updated. So That is another architectural consideration when you're talking about the overall solution blueprint to think about how that will work. Because of course, if you're taking an update, you have to test um, several components of your overall solution. Platform architecture is, are we using one platform versus another, or multiple apps are involved, or multiple platforms are involved. Uh, all of these work together and form a solution blueprint for a connected enterprise, which can effectively automate all of their processes. Uh, so just want to touch base on solution architecture so that you understand how Microsoft sees it and how it just works in these projects. What is expected of a solution architect? This is important as well because there are multiple definitions available today in the space about what a solution architect should do or should not do. But this is an overall approach from Microsoft, how solution architect should strategize or should work through these projects. The solution strategy, of course, is the number one umbrella. So under that, you have functional solution, technical solution, approach. So solution architect kind of leads that solution strategy. They basically, so for if you talk about technical solution, they don't actually develop, but they collaborate. They bridge that gap between the functional solution, functional requirements into the technical solution, and then kind of holistically define the approach of the solution. They also take care of or work on what dynamics, the requirements which are around what dynamics apps will be needed for that process. Azure services and third parties, which can be your ISVs or any external integration. So again, they create, which is a solution blueprint. They collaborate with the technical architects or other uh, team within the project, and the customers as well. They coordinate and they validate and they communicate. The next slide, which you see, is an example of a connected ERP solution architecture, single app. Basically, this shows you how you can automate your processes. So the processes are in the center. This is based on Dynamics 365 for finance and supply chain, which is the ERP at the center stage. So if you look at it from the top, you have stakeholders, which are your customers and suppliers, and also the operations, the production operations, which are very important. And then you see different functional processes and modules like accounts payable, which is part of procure to pay process. You see accounts receivable, which is part of quote to cash process. So budgeting, master planning, expense management, fixed assets, general ledger, which is part of financial plan to record. You also see integration with MES, which is manufacturing execution system. Now, the overall automation of this process can be done using all of these tools and these. If you see on the left-hand side, you have functional business process, operational areas, solution module, and then you also have in the bottom the management of the overall solution, which is lifecycle services. The front end can be mobile or web. You have automation tools which are available. Business events is one of them. You have logic apps, flow. Now, most recently, more advancements on the chatbot side, on the AI side. On the integration side, you have multiple approaches which you can use to integrate internal or external systems. You have DMF, which can be used, which is data management framework. Power Platform is very widely used today for a connected enterprise experience. And you also have dual write, which we will talk about a little bit later in this presentation. Dual write is very important if we talk about end-to-end process automation. On this side of the presentation, on the right side, you see there are other tools or features which are available, which can be effectively used to automate certain areas or to address certain requirements like analytics and reporting requirements, you have common data service, which is basically can be used in multiple areas, especially on the integration side. When we integrate with Dataverse, you also see Azure Data Lake, Azure SQL, Key Vault, Power BI, financial reporting, financial reporter is basically also in here. You see IoT intelligence, Azure IoT Hub, which is very important if you're talking about a manufacturing scenario and you are looking to monitor your machines on the production floor. Azure IoT Hub is more and more clients are using that nowadays to do that effectively. So these using Azure services can basically take inputs from your machines and present that in a way that you can use effectively for your reporting purposes or for integration with your ERP. So you also have devices. You also see inventory visibility service, which is a recent service which is available nowadays for the ERP users. Supply chain insights. This is another feature which is backed by business intelligence. So the overall connected ERP solution architecture basically provides you a lot of tools, a lot of features, and areas which you can effectively address to come up with a very viable solution architecture and effectively kind of automate your processes. The next slide is showing us another example of a connected ERP solution architecture, but this is cross-application, right? So in the previous slide, we looked at how with finance and supply chain at the center stage, how we can we can connect or we can utilize different tools and features available across in the architecture. In this slide, we are basically showing how you can build a resilient supply chain based on multiple apps, which can actually talk with each other as well, and also can perform in their own silos, but still can have several processes which can address your data reporting or any requirements which you may have for each of these applications. So if you start from the top, you have supply chain management, then you have commerce, then you have human resources. These are all the channels which are available for your vendors, customers, and employees. Within supply chain management, we have collaboration portal, we have electronic transactions, external catalogs, where you can effectively link to an external catalog of a vendor and pull in the product information from that catalog. You have Power Apps templates which are available. You can build your own customized portals using Power Apps. If we talk about D365 Commerce, which are more retail commerce focused for retail commerce focused customers, you have e-commerce component, you have mobile, you have point of sale component, which can also connect to other apps effectively to show you more details on the different data entities. You have human resources, which is also available within the same criteria. You have mobile, web client, and self-service. And then you have mixed reality. On the back office side, we have similar architecture. We have for commerce, you can address merchandising, channel management, distribution, fulfillment, shipping and receiving. Supply chain side, you can address customer order fulfillment, manufacturing execution, which we just spoke about in the previous slide. There are, if you talk about MES systems, there are few integrations which are already available by Microsoft to some of the very well-known MES systems. So which is another part of a connected enterprise. If you really want to automate your manufacturing processes, then you have inventory management, production control, procurement and sourcing, asset management. Some of these we will talk about in a bit. You have D365 project operations and human resources here on the back office side as well. So all of these kind of are the back office features of these apps. But then there are certain features which you can, or different data entities which you can still utilize as a common data and report off of it. So it really depends on your architecture. Within technology unification, how it basically the system administration side of it works. So you have the user management, which is done through Azure Active Directory, application management, which is done through LCS, application lifecycle management service. Integration, we just looked at it. There are several ways to integrate. You have you can do OData, you can do a web service, you can do a passive or non-synchronous integration through a data management framework. Power Platform is always available, which is no-code, low-code environments you can create, and you can also, within Power Platform, Power Automate is basically used a lot for complex workflow management, for example. Automation, business events, Power Automate, data and visualization through financial reporting and Power BI. So these are the tools which are available on the administration side. We also have IoT intelligence in the cross-app scenario as well. So the layer, the administration layer, kind of captures all the back office and channels upwards. And as I said, you can identify data entities which are common across different applications, and you can effectively pull those data entities into your global data warehouse or data warehouse and report off of it. I know we have limited time here, so I'm just going to quickly go through the cross-app scenarios. Integrated customer master, integrated vendor master, awareness to organizational hierarchies, access to customer loyalty cards and reward points, unified product master, integrated sites and warehouses, access to finance and tax reference data. So the best, these are the benefits of having cross-app scenarios or cross-app or single app actually as well, to kind of so if you look at access to finance and tax reference data, integrated quote to cash flow, integrated procurement to pay flow, sync on demand with supply chain pricing engine, which are trade agreements. Same for commerce, on-hand inventory available to promise, dates, integrated in-house assets for field servicing, integrated worker job and positions, party and global address book and Dataverse, and Microsoft is doing a little bit more investments on optimizing global address book as well, so that it can be used across multiple apps. So let's say if you're using dual write, which we'll just look at it in a couple of minutes, you can effectively use global address book for multiple scenarios across your different apps in a cross app scenario. OneNote integration is very important as well. This is just a connected architecture sample to show you how these integrations, external and internal, can work together. So with ERP at the center stage, and then writing back into CRM, which is your sales, using dual rate. There are some external integrations which you can definitely use and connect into the ERP system. On the right-hand side, you also see a concept called Global Data Warehouse, which is becoming popular more and more with the organizations who really want to have this connected enterprise experience. Because this is something where you can consolidate all your data from different sources and you can report off of it. So as you may see, Azure Data Lake is used there. You also see advanced reporting directly from the global data warehouse. You see Power Apps component as well there. So which is, again, this is something which can live within the ERP or which can live external to the ERP and can still consume data from the global data warehouse or other database. So this is just an overall picture how a connected architecture looks like. Business process automation. This is important to get into our dual rights section, because that is really an integral part of the overall connected enterprise. End-to-end business processes, as we discussed before, can be automated effectively for cross-functional business units and teams in an enterprise. With proper business process mapping and planning, a seamless user experience can be created by using appropriate Dynamics apps and relevant Power Platform components. Business process like prospect to cash, procure to pay, and project to cash can be fully or partially automated using data integrator or dual write. Which logically, pushes us towards to talk about dual write a little bit, because dual write is something which is a function or a feature which is used to integrate with other apps from the ERP or to the ERP. One of the most common and popular integration is with the CE, and new integrations like field service are also becoming mainstream. Um, so this is an architecture. This is the architecture capability for dual write. Can talk with asset management. There is a package for asset management, retail integration, of course, package for that. You have SCM integration package. You also have a finance integration package. The overall platform is the core based on Dataverse platform. So all of these basically addresses all the data entities requirements, plugins, or any workflows specific to these apps. Moving forward, to give you a little bit more on how how these processes work. So this is one of the most prominent process, which is automated for any enterprise who wants to be, fully automated in terms of prospect to cash process. So you see sales and you see finance and operations. You can effectively have, integrated customer master, integrated product master. You can have quotes. You can have sales orders in both the systems. You can have invoices from the ERP to the sales, so that when that data is available for CE or for the sales representatives to effectively manage the customers. So the dual write, the data is written in both the databases, right? So it's available, it's physically available. There is another concept of virtual entities, in which the data is not completely written, but a reference is used to effectively use one of the data entities which are not available for the mapping. Procurement automation for field service. This is important as well, because now, as I said, this is not heavily used, but you can also integrate field service with supply chain management. And for that, you can integrate your purchase order for product, or purchase order for service. You can also integrate the receipt for that purchase order, effectively helping the field service technician who can initiate the procurement process. The path forward. The path forward for Dynamics platform is one platform. That is what Microsoft has been pushing or making some investments on. So what they want to do is they want to basically converge or consolidate finance and operations and the Power Platform to kind of give a single unified experience to the developer who's developing these apps or extensions to these apps. The administrator who's basically creating these environments, and also to the users, who are basically in the application. So, for example, if someone is in the ERP, they can effectively run a Power App based solution within the ERP. So that is coming. Any details, you can look at this Tech Talk series, which I have provided the reference to. This is the approach quickly. How this is being designed and envisioned. So everything will be basically consolidated to Power Platform. Some limitations, there are some complexities with this solution. Not with the solution, but the overall connected enterprise experience. It requires significant amount of time and effort to configure. And also, if there are needs of external integrations with other enterprise systems, there is some lack of features there. Or implementing business applications, of course, can be expensive. So cost is something to think about. We are at time. Just wanted to thank all of you for listening to this. I know this was a little faster than usual because it's a huge topic, but Stoneridge is here for you. Just reach out to us. These are our services which we provide. We have technology services, project recovery, business intelligence, and all of these services which you see on your screen. Thank you very much. Stay connected on LinkedIn, events, and through chat. Thank you.